Welcome back to Alchemical Astrology, and Happy New Year to all who are celebrating January the 1st as the beginning of another orbit around the Sun for our planet Earth. I'm your host and planet tracker Melusine with the first lunar report of 2023. I'm posting this on January 7th, the day Mercury goes Cazimi, as in my view this represents the key energetic turning point in January that shifts the gears on this celestial engine we call the solar system. If you recall, I summarized the four phases of Mercury in the December Astro Report, and this position that occurs once in every synodic cycle of 116 days is a pivot point for this planet to change from evening sky Mercury to morning star Mercury as it sails to its highest altitude in the sky on the 22nd of January. Why is this important, and what does it have to do with the full moon? Let's unpack the first part of this question. Mercury represents the mind and our capacity to communicate and exchange ideas and services. At present, it is in retrograde motion, which points to exercising caution when it comes to short trips, what you post on the internet, and contract negotiations. But there is already a movement towards the full expression of the Apollo face of this planet, or what Dane Rudhyar called its Promethean presentation, which will be in full force on the 13th of this month when the planet goes direct in its motion. Prometheus was the titan who brought fire to humanity and enraged the gods in doing so. There's your running theme for the month, and where the alchemy is going to play out on the world stage in no uncertain terms. I will describe the full celestial machinations of the first month of 2023 in a separate report. In the meantime, prepare yourself for a rise in dissent by the collective against the current hierarchy as unrest begins to foment on a global scale against those who occupy the human version of Mount Olympus, the institutionalized members of the status quo looking to retain their positions of power. Making a mental note of this percolating in the background, what you would do well to consider when planning your full moon rituals is to apply countermeasures by way of the soothing, feminine, nurturing qualities available to us with a full moon in Cancer. This is the moon's domain, and she is shining in her full brilliance in the sign of the crab. Consider the characteristics of this crustacean. It has a protective shell and moves sideways as it's faster and more efficient based on the way it is constructed. Embrace these qualities and you'll be well prepared for the events to come. Here's the chart for the full moon in the second decan of Cancer as calculated based on my location in Toronto, Canada. The only frictional angles in this configuration involve the Sun and Moon both squaring Chiron and forming a T-square as is delineated by the red triangle. These are all cardinal signs, and the tension would be relieved by applying Libran qualities when we are connecting with others in a meaningful way. Diplomacy, harmony, and grace are what you want to embody. Remember, Venus rules Libra. She is cool and moist. The same elements certainly apply to a Cancer moon, so bring out your inner goddess and luxuriate in a bubble bath while sipping champagne and contemplating your next moves for mid-month when all the planets are direct. That's right, all the planets. But for the moment, Mars is still retrograding in Gemini, and we look to Mars to see where the war is playing out. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and now you see where I'm going with the running theme outlined earlier. Mars is stirring the pot with anything to do with communication, the internet, neighbors, siblings, and all our thought processes. Retrograde Mercury is trining rebellious Uranus, suggesting you make some adjustments in your implementation of technology as a means of connecting with fellow humans. At the same time, the moon is sextiling Uranus, the planet of sudden change and revolution, providing an opportunity to gain insights on how you might improve the family dynamic and what makes you feel a sense of security. There may also be engagement with new people and an expansion in your social circle that broadens your horizons and emotional spectrum of experience. Tread lightly and go with the flow, even if it means walking sideways. According to the Chaldeans, the second decan of Cancer is ruled by, you guessed it, good old Mercury. Need I say more at this point about the influence of the messenger of the gods and its effect on this lunar configuration? As it turns out, the fixed star this moon is in proximity to is Wasat, which literally serves to join Castor and Pollux, the sky twins. According to Vivian Robson, this star has a Saturnian character, and as such is more about separating than connecting. You can be sure Mars and Gemini will be doing the cutting. So make sure that protective shell is reinforced against potential harsh verbal exchanges. Those who still follow the Julian calendar celebrate Christmas on the 6th of January, and among Catholics and Protestants, it is the Epiphany, the date the three Magi presented their gifts to the Christ child. Ultimately, it carries a revelatory tone and sets the perfect stage under a full Cancer moon to find the divinity within and the gifts this revelation may bring to your personal reality. After all, the moon in this phase always beckons us to pause, reflect, and release. The tarot card associated with the 16 degrees of Cancer is the Three of Cups, and the potential for a turnaround in relationships is graphically depicted by three dancing women holding their cups aloft in celebration. This may be the harbinger of a reunion, some work collaboration, or the development of a deeper connection with a friend. No matter how the options are made manifest, the message between the lines is a compromise could bring about a positive outcome for all parties involved. In the Crystal Kingdom, an enhanced negotiating ability can be reinforced with the use of seraphinite. It only makes sense that a stone named after the angelic realm might elevate a situation and give you a higher perspective by which to foster a collaborative environment. While you're soaking in your calm waters of bliss as the moon beams her silver light on you, call in the spirit of Prunella vulgaris, more commonly known as Heal All. It is a member of the mint family, ruled by Venus, and grows plentiful in fields throughout the Americas and Europe. The leaves can be put in stews and salads, while the aerial portions can be dried and made into teas that are very effective at combating sore throats during Capricorn season. Be sure to leave some blossoms for our pollinator friends, as this plant is a favorite of butterflies and bees. Until the next lunation report, I wish you the peace and tranquility of a blessed Cancer moon in her full power.